it's really, we're at that crossroads now to say you've got to feel for what local people may feel, good and bad. The landowner's still willing, the contractor's still willing, but the contractor now has to hit a green button which says I might have to invest significant money doing research work, and I'm not going to do it unless I feel comfortable the parish council at least are going to allow us to continue down that road. And all things being equal, if they come up with a highway solution and everything else being equal, there'd be that continued in principle support for the development of that land.
John, did you have a comment? Did you want to see?
No, that's fine. Thank you very much indeed. That's very good. Thank you.
Has anybody got any other questions, please?
No. Okay.
Are you seeking a comment of progression tonight?
Can I be honest, Mr. Chairman? Yes. But
Ideally, yes.
ideally, yes. But I am very mindful of that. You have a lot to think about because clearly, you've got your own thoughts that you will have gained through the event. That I have no doubt there's been lots of debate in the village since, which is again not a bad thing. We've given you some information, and you've heard some information which I think is only right properly you digest from your local community as well. So I mean, I'm not a great fan of a knee-jerk reaction. I think there's nothing wrong with taking a step back and
A considered
view, and when you're ready, you can give us your view, but again, I would certainly encourage and endorse the idea of having some thinking time. It's too easy to say just get on with it.
As we only have our meetings once a month, is that too long?
I don't think so. I think at the end of the day, I think at the end of the day, 4 or 5 weeks isn't going to be neither or that. I mean, at the end of the day, if it was related to grant or something else that was really urgent, it would be a different debate. But 4 or 5 weeks is not going to. I mean, you remember you did your consultation in June. The whole of July's gone, the whole of August is gone. So there's been that breathing time anyway. Another month is neither here nor there. Of course, the one thing you can't legislate for, of course, is what happens up the road with the other one.
We are going to be talking about that under another heading. I don't know whether you're standing for that, but you might want to now.
Well,
Shall we just say affordable housing is not going to appear in that particular equation?
it doesn't sound like it.
No. As far as we are concerned and understand, it is not going to be a mechanism to get planning through affordable housing. There is another offer to improve, give the village an improvement.
Correct. Just to reassure members, and I'm not a planner, but we've had an example of it somewhere else in Cannington is where we've done that. They had a flood alleviation scheme that needed extra funding, and we did exactly the same project where there was no affordable housing, but the community benefit in that case was a massive financial contribution towards the flood alleviation process. Clearly, the community benefit there is to tackle your rather challenging entrance to the village. And I think as a council we understand that. So we've had a discussion or a chat with the prospective developer. We understand what their agenda is, and all we'd be doing if it came in and it was a principle, we're just simply looking at the finances to make sure that they genuinely couldn't provide affordable housing over and above the other community benefits. But we understand the principle of what's going on there. That's
In principle, and I say in principle, not definitively, both processes could carry on in parallel.
Correct. Correct.
Well, if there's nothing else, can I just say thank you to Bester and yourself, Duncan, and your time.
No, that's fine. And obviously, we'll talk when you're ready. I think that's the message.
Well, I think we'll debate it on the agenda for next time. I'm not sure whether you want to do it, but I think the conclusions will come to you by email or something, or a letter from Owen.
I mean, really, if I'm honest about it, it's do you want to carry on looking at Station Road? Is there somewhere else you want us to look at? Is really what we need to understand at this stage. And the only intervening support we need is some local promotion of the housing needs refresher, and we'll talk to Owen about that. So that we just get it in the public domain,
Okay.
so that'll be fine.
That's
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
No, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Right, next item on the agenda, sorry. Planning. Right, Cynthia,
Yes, okay.
could I have your
This is
comment, please?
07/16 treble 010, retention of change of use and conversion of farm building to dwelling at Bramble Farm, Hartbury Mark. Also being consulted on at Mark PC because it came to us before and they presumed it was in their parish, but in fact it is in Brent Knoll, isn't it? But nevertheless, they have made comments on this. Okay, this has been before the council before, some time ago. Years ago. Was it that many years ago?
Yeah.
All right.
But
it was.
It was sheds.
Yes, that's true. Anyway, and this is a new application. Having looked at the application, which is for retention of change of use, which they already have, is still in place. Obviously, that's for the having the land and having all the cattle. I presume that's the change of use at once. I wanted to speak to the planning officer, but I couldn't get hold of her to clarify a few things. But the retention of change of use is one thing, but the application for the farm building conversion to dwelling is another. But it's all come in under the same planning application. So it's really basically looking at it. It is that the Mr. Patch, who owns the property now, does keep a varied amount of animals on his land, and he has written quite a long letter with his application saying why he wants to keep it, you know, to change to get the planning application to conversion. In a way, I kind of struggled in a sense because it isn't a house, it is just buildings, sheds, and so basically you're looking at a man who's got a farm but wants to change them into convert them. So that is what we're presented with, really.
Yeah.
And I don't know what criteria I can really.
He wants to build a property.
Yes, it does. We have got plans. Do you want to see them on the table?
I mean, looking at the plans,
Yes.
there are really no details.
No, it's not very
And
good
so
on details.
I think we cannot, I don't think, support it at this stage
No, I
because
think it needs more
it's
detail.
insufficient information.
Yes, I think that's what it is. It needs more detail. And if it came back to us, obviously we could look at it with a bit more information.
It lacks, I mean, there's no construction details per se.
Yeah, the comments online from Mark Parish Council is that they object. They say the property is not suitable for conversion and it would be setting a precedent if they gave permission to change it into a house. And also has drainage problems. Now, on the website, the Environmental Health had no comments at all on this application. That was dated the 10th of August, and but they said there's no supporting evidence reference flooding and no highway comment. but that's really,
That's all we can
that's
do.
it really. I can't really embellish on that anymore because it is what it is.
I mean, I don't know whether
And I think that
other
perhaps,
councillors have a view, but in my opinion, sorry,
No, carry on.
I was going to propose that we would not support it at this stage due to
Yes.
insufficient
More
information.
information.
yes, we do
Yeah.
need more information.
What about,
If you've been past that farm, it looks like a shanty town. The access is a very narrow track on quite a bad corner.
Which is
And,
it, yeah.
The access would have to be enlarged quite considerably, and it's not a good stretch of road to do that on.
But the problem is at the moment, we haven't got
There's-
any details of
No.
the
No, and
proposal, so I
That's
think
it.
There is no highway comment at all
at
on
this
that.
stage, I suspect, because
And
they
it's
haven't
because it
advertised.
hasn't gone far enough.
So can we object on the basis of lack of information?
Yeah.
do we have to say anything about retention and change of use?
Well, the change of use, I mean,
That's retention, isn't
yes,
it,
it
of
is. We're not objecting to that, are we?
So it's a part support, is it?
Pardon?
Are you supporting part of it?
Well,
Yes,
it's-
well, I
don't understand
did
the
ask.
terminology because it's a double negative. Retention of change.
Change of use.
How can you retain change? Because change implies that you can't retain change.
I think they obtained
Yeah.
change of use
Yeah.
before.
Yes.
Oh, right, so they've
So
always
that's
got
what
the
he's
right
asking.
retain.
Just to keep animals there or something like that.
Yes,
So we should agree that, surely?
yes, I think the other,
No problem.
yes, no problem with
Yeah, so,
that.
okay,
So if it's all coming together, then we have a good check. If it's
Well,
separate.
Yes, it should be separate.
it's
shouldn't
Well,
not
that's-
normally appropriate to do a two-part
That's
No,
right.
planning
No.
response,
Yeah.
half of which is supporting and half of which
it's
is...
all
No.
coming out of
Objecting.
one, it is all
So
coming
because you're
out of one
objecting
thing.
to part of it, I think you've really got to object to all of it.
Yeah.
Well,
Until it comes,
Yes.
it's reconsidered and put back
Yes.
to the
Exactly.
council again.
yes.
And
It-
by that
as I said,
time, we may have further details
Yeah.
on
More
the way
information.
they're dealing with the animal husbandry
Yeah.
as well. I
Yeah.
don't know. Yes,
The last time this came before us, there was a dispute over ownership.
That's
Yes,
right.
but that was,
And I believe that has been resolved,
resolved,
and
was it
according
sold
to the
to
sob
someone else?
story, if you read it on
That's-
the guy has spent a fortune
Yeah.
in court because, by the sound of it, he bought the land or the property off a chap in the pub or something. And the guy he bought it from wasn't the owner.
no, but that
So
was a
if
long,
you-
but that was a long time
It's not a
ago.
planning issue,
And
So it's
we've
not
got
planning
nothing to
issues,
do with it
but
now.
that's by the by. Okay, conversion of a barn to a garage
Right,
and
okay.
installation of a first floor area at Laurels, Wick Lane.
Okay, that's 0716, stroke 0019. Conversion of barn to a garage and installation of first floor area at Laurelswick Lane, Brent Knoll, okay. Right, this is a barn which is actually is now used as a workshop and a machinery store and stores hay. And obviously the application is for it to be changed to a dwelling and, sorry, that was wrong one here. No, sorry, just, no, just a
Just to- it's just-
Yeah.
conversion to a barn for garage.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And including the application is the environmental agency completed form covering the flood risk assessment and the comments from Seymour District Council, Environmental Health and Land Drainage, no comments from them. And then from the Seymour District Council, it said standing advice applies. Now I don't know what that means, and it was something which I was going to ask planning officer but couldn't get hold of that. But that was what that was
So
a
what was it again?
comment.
What was the-
Standing advice applies. It's online, and that's in one of the comments. Environmental health, no comments at all. And there's nothing from highways at all on this. But
Have we all looked at the drawings?
have you seen the drawings? You want to see
Has
them?
anybody got any
We'd like to
thoughts
see
on
them
it?
again.
It's
You
just
would
for
like to see them.
the third time the guy's developed property within his, Perimeter removed on. he built a house, or he moved into a house on the corner, built a house next door, moved into that and sold the previous one, then he moved into the backyard and it goes on.
But at this stage, we don't know he's going to do that.
Yeah.
I concern.
They are.
But on the other hand, if we're looking at a planning application, we have to look at what the planning application
Yes,
is.
you can't.
Okay, but if you want to build 8 new houses in a field,
That's the proposed.
But surely,
that's it.
if he,
Basically,
if
the
he
farm,
wants to
the
convert
farm
the
farms
barn
there being
to
used.
a workshop, sorry, a garage and a first floor over, if he then wanted to convert it to change of use to a domestic dwelling,
yeah.
he'd have to go for further
We'll have to
planning.
go, yes, I've
So
had
we're
this.
not looking at that.
But
No,
we're
we're
not
not.
looking at that at this stage, just because there's a potential fear.
No, that's not, that's something, that it's
We
not
can't
in-
even think about it.
in-
So at the moment, all we're looking at is a
What he wants
barn
to
that's
do,
a workshop being turned
He
into
just
a
wants
double
to-
garage.
And to make a first floor, he's going to, for storage.
No comment.
And basically,
Yeah.
there's-
Anybody got any other thoughts on it? So really, I think we have to support it.
I think so, I would say to support it,
Can
because
we have a
it's
show of
going
hands
to be
on that,
used
please?
for a specific reason. And obviously, like any barn, you're going to use it to the best of its,
Stick your hand up.
Can we have a proposal then, and the proposal is that we accept any objections?
I will. I'm against it.
Okay, so
So majority support. And the grounds of that support are, just to clarify, what are the grounds that we're supporting it on?
is it too far
That
to go
it's-
sympathetic development?
well, I said that it's a functional building, and obviously, they obviously want to use it for something different, which is perhaps going to benefit them. It's going to be a workshop.
Already living inside there.
Yes, I know. I mean, it is at the moment, it is
Approved
it is used. As a workshop, but they're going to retain it as a workshop, then as storage and upstairs and
Yeah.
upstairs.
Okay, thank you.
That's majority, it's not unanimous, yeah?
Then finally,
So there are going to be some windows in there, yes.
Oh,
Yes, but you would come to go on and look at that. In fact, I made that clear, because it is a little bit confusing.
finally then we've got
Right,
listed building consent for the erection of a replacement porch. Now, I don't think it's a matter of looking at lots of detail on this, and I think it's a simple yes or no, do we support it? So can I have a show of hands in support?
Before you do
well,
that,
can I
Yes.
just say
Yes.
something? As I have looked at it, I mean, yes, I agree with you. For those who haven't looked at it all, it is just a replacement porch, and exactly the same footprint of what is now. And obviously it's a listed building, and I would say we'll support it. The fact that it's going to
Improve.
be an improvement, obviously it's a listed building.
do we have to look at it differently because it's listed?
But we
One
go
of
there
the
is
things-
a
one of the things you need to look at, of course,
No,
is that it
because they
complies
would
with
have
the
looked
listing,
at it.
with the listed building criteria,
Yes.
which obviously we don't know the details, that says you
No,
do.
There is
So,
some information.
Have the applicants
Yes.
had any advice from the listed
Well,
building?
In the information,
No.
they have a design
Probably,
statement there, which is refers to the.
Okay, fine.
They have sent photographs, and they are of the existing and the proposed roof structure, for
That's okay
example, and they are using the
same
the same
design.
tiles that were on the existing will be reused. So I think the issue really is what is there as a wooden structure is probably reaching its natural life, and it just wants to be replaced with an
But
oak
it was built in
replacement.
1984.
So I think we'll support
So
it on the
support on
ground.
the basis of that, and also providing it meets the criteria for listed buildings.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
I said it in the information, so it's been there a long time.
Yeah, thank you, Cynthia.
That's okay.
Moving on, to receive any report on footpaths, Peter?
Yeah, I had a complaint from a parishioner regarding the maize field at the
Oh,
back.
sorry, yes, Bob.
Sorry? be out all night.
Sorry, Peter, sorry.
The footpath that runs into Middle Burnham from R87, I told the bushman it wasn't our problem, it was Middle Burnham's.
Right.
Well, I did walk it, and it's true that you can walk along the footpath to the edge of the maze, because it was growing right up to the hedge, but people have made their own path through the maze, which is quite interesting.
Well, they have left quite a wide, they've left about like that between the rows, and it looks as if it's done on purpose.
Oh, I don't know, because
Yeah, I walked
it was
through it.
well trodden.
Yeah.
Apart from that, no.
So do you want to amend anything on that or no?
George mentioned earlier when he came to the parish surgery, some styles. Could you just
From Crooked Lane, when you go down Crooked Lane, then you're then going on the footpath over the railway bridge. There's a gate, and then there's the high steps over the railway line.
Yeah,
So I think that one is still in progress, isn't it?
that's on the agenda, that man there. Sort that out.
Sleeps.
You've got the sleepers.
Yeah.
But didn't you say something about that we weren't allowed to use them?
Sleepers?
Is it to do with the British Rail?
Well, weren't we waiting to hear back from Chris East as to whether he was happy that we should put those sleepers
Yeah, that
down?
was it.
That was it.
Yeah,
Yes.
sorry.
Can we just chase him?
I'll wait for these
I don't know whether it's relevant now, but NFU have got these that you nail onto goats. It might be useful on the footpaths, if I can.
There is a few of them about the village already.
They're old, aren't they?
Yeah, we'll use them, won't they?
So perhaps we should encourage the landowners to put them up.
If they in touch with the NFU, I'm sure they'll supply them.
I mean, is it something we could put in a weekend, Bob?
Well, there was an item put in, I think, at the last session about the animals that have been let loose. But yeah, we can certainly.
I mean, I was just thinking it would be nice to make sure, I mean, I guess they can talk to an FU and get their own things and encourage the landowners to do it.
Could that be scanned in and use that? I mean, could we scan that and use that perhaps? Is that one way of doing it?
Yeah, might be useful, that's all.
Just cheating, that's all, just trying to do it easy.
Thank you, Malcolm. Highway reports. I have a fairly significant issue to talk about on that one, but can we go about any other?
Yeah, just over the railway bridge, just past Mary Frost Farm on the left, the road is really crumbling away.
Huge rich pothole.
Yeah.
So where is this, Brian?
Over the railway bridge, the other side,
Sunshine Cottage.
just past Mary Frost, on the left. Is that what it's called?
No, I think it's not. It's
And also-
that's property going out.
Yeah. And also on the road leading up to the bridge, coming from Burnham, there is a significant split in the road
Yes, there is actually.
and grass growing up.
Yeah.
I presume it's okay, but I thought I'd better mention it to you.
So where exactly is that?
That's on the lead up to the bridge, coming from Burnham.
Lead up to Bridge.
It's actually on the slope
There's a great big
itself.
split in the middle of the road.
Yes.
That's a highways issue that we ought to bring to their attention. I think it might be British Rail.
Okay. And there's some crumbling on the railway bridge.
Yeah.
Near Mary Frost.
Yeah.
It's the
Bob, sorry.
I was only going to report on up at the A38 junction.
Can we leave that?
No, not to do with the junction itself.
Oh, right.
This is to do with the footpath.
Right.
There's a footpath which runs from more or less where the gas box is out towards where Whitecross Farm has been demolished. The footpath itself is now down to about a third of its width because there's stuff growing out from the hedge and also it's covered. I think we just need to get that cleared back, and also Mr Hale's hedge needs to be growing out, so maybe now that we're past sort of bird nesting time, we could get that dealt with. Because now it's very difficult to walk past there without being caught by brambles.
It's on bike.
Is that for us to do, or the landowner, or
The landowner,
Landowner
usually
should do
does
so
that.
we should write to the landowner to
Certainly was it, the hedge is the landowner. The clearance of the
Yes,
footpath
it is very
possibly
nice.
is us or highways.
It isn't just
And-
there as well, Bob, it's right along.
Yeah.
Right.
John?
That's right along.
Yeah, further to what Bob said, you come further down the village as you come from the Fox and Goose on the left. I mentioned at the last meeting there are a lot of hedges which are encroaching onto, well, it's not a pavement, but there is the white line which is denoting where
the pavement would be, yes.
where the pavement would be. And frankly, the hedges are a disgrace. And I was going to go and get the numbers, but if you come down from the Fox and Goose, there is White Lodge, there was a little place which was slightly like a junkyard, and beyond that there are like 3-4 houses where they have very much overgrown hedges. And the landowners need to be...
Should we write to the individual landowners, or could we put a general comment in BKN?
Do we know who the landowners are? Do we know who the landowners are?
Well, I know, we'd have to get the names of the properties.
No, they don't have a chance because they can't do the hedges until such times as the nesting's over, and it's now that the people have started doing the hedging now.
Yeah, they have. Yes,
So shall we leave it till the next meeting, John, and perhaps you can bring back...
Well, I'll make a note of the house numbers where it isn't properly.
So we need to write to the landowner at Whitecross Farm on the hedge, and we need to decide what we're going to do about the footpaths, whether we're going to do it, whether the county are going to do it, yeah? So do we want to make that decision now? Or?
In terms of pavement, I would have thought when Jason's doing his cutting of the grass,
Jason.
he just took that back and
Jason.
do the job.
Jason? Okay.
Were you having something
Yeah,
else, Peter?
I don't know as to, since the car tax disc has expired, as to whether you can keep a car on the road if it's not taxed, because there's one on the end of Laurel Avenue for sale, for bits and spares or repair. There's also another one in Laurel Avenue, a smashed windscreen, and if they're registered SORN, surely they should be off the road.
I believe you were right.
They should be.
Yeah.
And if they're not, they should declare, the fact that having got a tax disc is kind of irrelevant. The authorities will know whether the car is taxed.
That's right.
So therefore,
But they won't know unless the vehicle gets moved around.
no, but if the police found it, of course, they would be able to check it and they would tell you whether it's taxed or not, even though there's no tax disc in it.
Yeah,
Need.
yeah. But I
So,
was unable to get to the surgery today because I was in Weston.
yeah, something we perhaps could take up with Sam and PC. Will.
He's been out nearly 2 months.
Yeah.
Just outside my house.
But I think the principle is if you have a declaration of a SORN, then it should be off
It should be off the highway.
Right.
Going on to highway reports, we've alluded to it already, that the land adjacent to the A38, which was originally being considered as a site for affordable housing, the new development is that as a benefit to the village, there could be funds made to improve the junction from Brent Street onto the A38. In other words, the planning process is to enable, I'll let Bob as the expert, can you just explain?
Yeah. There's a planning policy basically, it's policy P4 at Sedgwick, which is it allows for development adjacent to a development boundary, providing it is coming forward with a community benefit. Now in most cases the community benefit is affordable housing, but as you heard from Duncan Harvey earlier, in Cannington, their feeling was that their community benefit they wanted was for a flood alleviation scheme. So they allowed development of open market housing, and the money that would have gone towards the affordable housing was then used to bring forward the flood alleviation scheme, which then had benefit to the wider community. In this particular instance, the way forward it could be, if the community felt that it was of benefit, that money that would be generated from developing that site would, instead of going towards affordable housing on the site, would go forward to actually coming forward with a solution to the Fox and Goose Junction layout. To be frank, it's something that the parish has been trying to deal with for years. County, I think, have made it very apparent over time and currently that unless we have a major fatality there, it doesn't score enough points to get it on their list of jobs to do. So it would be then down to the parish, both parish council and consultation within the parish, to decide whether a development there sorting out the junction was something that was felt to be of suitable benefit.
Yeah. And I think that the key thing is that we, as the parish council, would have to agree with the process or support the process if we wanted to achieve any improvement in that junction. And we don't know what that is at this moment in time. So as a point of proceeding, Owen had an email from the proposed developer to say that they have carried out a survey, a highway survey of sorts, and they wanted to talk to us about those findings before going further, announcing it to the parish as a whole. I think it would be remiss of us not to hear what they've got to say on the basis that I've only been in the village 2.5 years, but I understand that junction has been a real issue for more years than most of us sat around this table. And if we can get somebody to fund that, then it's got to be a benefit, a major benefit, I would say, to the village. So I would propose that either the whole parish council meets with the developer, as suggested, or we have a small working group meet with the developer. I don't mind. Could I have thoughts, please?
I think 22nd of September was a suggested date, if I recall.
I don't know whether it's an afternoon, morning, evening.
Well, they haven't said that, and I think it's up to us to go back to them and say that if we want to do that, then we would like to meet at 2 o'clock, or whatever time you feel you want to meet.
That's fair enough.
And I think the parish council, the whole, I don't think we should just have a little group. I think we should involve everyone here.
But I think we would be remiss as a council not to explore the potential to get an improvement to that junction.
Do we know the nature of the improvement?
No, this is what they're going to tell us.
That's not Wednesday now.
The whole idea they have paid this money that Duncan was mentioning for Station Road, and somebody has done a traffic analysis or whatever survey or they have to do a feasibility study, and that would enable us to understand it. They want to then go public to the parish, even if we don't meet them, and at that stage would then go presumably for planning on the site. But with the caveat that there has to be that improvement. But what we don't know, the nature of that improvement, is it going to simply be a pedestrian crossing or a full-blown roundabout? I have no idea.
I believe they want to do the consultation one day before our next meeting, I think it's the 4th of October, so therefore we were not able to discuss it at the next monthly meeting because they want us to meet up with the council before that. Because they want to explain to the council what they're proposing before they do the consultation, so they know what the council's view is.
The 22nd of September is
If we go and meet them, we won't be able to do anything and have a vote on what we want to do until the October meeting anyway, because it's affairs of the parish. You have to tell the parish.
It's more a matter of understanding, Peter, at this stage.
I understand that. But the people that want to make the development should understand also that by making the presentation, they won't be able to say that the parish council has denied it because we won't have met.
All they can say is that they've been consulted.
Exactly.
That's all.
I think we should take the opportunity to understand what they're proposing.
We've got no problem with that.
And qualify any letter of acceptance to say that we are there to receive information and not to support or object at that stage.
Yes.
And the 22nd of September is a Thursday.
What time?
Don't know. What would suit members? Will it be better in the afternoon or will it be better in the evening?
Afternoon or evening.
So, should we, what, would you prefer to go for the afternoon? David, is that okay with you?
No, if I know in enough time.
What about Bob? Would you want?
Sorry, 22nd
Afternoon would be fine.
Yeah.
October, isn't it? Or
September.
September.
Oh, Lordy.
But I will point out to them very clearly that it is your wish that it's a consultative process. It's not about us coming along and agreeing to what they're doing. We just want to know from them what they're proposing, and then they can go with their consultation process.
So,
Yes, they need to know that.
Then
That's
will it be
the
here?
outline.
Be here, I suppose.
Yeah, you may hear
I need to get some clarity from Jenny. I have actually sent her an email.
They're going to meet here.
Sorry?
Are they going to pay?
What for this?
Yeah.
What should I? We've charged them.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the light bulb for the traffic light.
Good point.
Okay, thank you. So, on the 22nd of September, can you advise us as ASAP?
Yeah, okay. I'll try and do it this week if I can. Friday I'll try and speak to them.
That's lovely. Thank you.
Maybe tomorrow afternoon.
Which day is that?
Thursday.
Thursday.
Hopefully PM afternoon.
Okay.
Who did the village green today?
I did. Right. Condition of grass areas and park service issues. Right, the grass is very long and the weeds are coming through the matting by the seesaw, and it's not just a few, it's absolutely smothered. Benches and picnic tables all seemed in good condition. The perimeter fencing and hedges, lots of brambles which need cutting back. General rubbish and tidiness, okay. Car park and boundary fencing looks okay. Toilet block, men's floor was very, very dirty, and ladies' loo, one of the covers for the loo rolls has been pulled off. I don't know if it's damaged, but it's
Vandals. Lady vandals.
late. Any additional comments? The mugger has been completed. The bike rails look very good,
Oh, yes,
but
please,
lots
they
and
come
lots
back.
of weeds where the recycling bins were. So that needs to be sorted out.
Do we know of any, I'll look at David as a potential expert, are there any weed killers that we can safely use on, say, the area of the seesaw that's not going to upset
Don't
children?
allow grass to come up through. I thought
We
that
have
was
a
our
lot to
point.
use it, we have it power wash.
Oh, is that what happens?
I mean, you can get weed killers that don't kill grass.
Well, you've got to watch out what you put down there because of the kiddies.
That's what
Yes,
I was thinking.
exactly. Yes,
That's
it's
what I
very
was
bad.
So you shouldn't have any gaps.
I suppose it's because it's all been redone, isn't it? Because it's lap. I wonder, just a comment from somebody about the seesaw. Actually, two
Yes.
people have commented to me. It's fabulous that it's new, but it doesn't move very
it
much.
doesn't.
Can it
moves
be
about
adjusted?
that.
It only moves a
It moves
fraction, and the children are saying it's lovely, but it doesn't
Can't-
do
they actually
anything.
can't
Depends
see
how
so.
heavy you are.
It's really
So I just
weird.
wondered if there's an adjustment on it.
What,
and if
shall I
there
ask
is.
GB Sports?
Would you be kind?
I'll ask
Yes,
GB
please, if you wouldn't mind.
Because what I can say, when Colin comes to do his inspection, I'll ask him if he'll have a look at it.
Somebody has to go and have a go.
In terms of the village green and toilet, sorry,
No, then carry on.
all I was going to say, it would not be a suitable time to agree or not agree to take that fence down between the toilet block and the car park. I would propose that we do. Any objections?
You were talking about taking alternate ones off, weren't you?
It's a kind of screening for the loo, actually.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
about that.
Lovely.
No, when I,
Take it down.
well,
All the way, it's only this side, not this side.
No.
Wait a minute, what do
It's
you-
only, it's only shielding the
It's the
No,
car
I
park,
agree.
it's the car park area, it's the car park part of the fence. Where we've got two signs which would go on the toilet block.
I think if you take the fence down alongside the car park, there is a return. It's a very short return. But I looked at it the other day, and the post, which is at the end, is probably rotten at the bottom. It's very wonky. So I think if you take those down, paint the whole lot. That's
Are
out.
they honest? Take it down.
Yes.
And get rid of the lot.
Even the part that's coming along
Yeah,
this
the
way.
return, what I would call the return.
No,
I think
no, there's another return on the village green. That's what Richard's on about.
Yeah.
I think that should stay.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Keep the one on the village because
Brian.
yeah, Markham.
You know the cycle racks? Well, we used them the other day when I was Francis came up with us, and one of them was
Loose.
loose.
Is it?
You put it in.
Oh,
It's
it's
not big.
It is, you put the bike in and it kind of goes like this.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
One of them I've noticed, they were put in like that originally, and now to
No, but they
They
do.
do.
oh, I do.
They do.
They're supposed to move.
Suppose they turn like that.
They're supposed to move.
They're supposed to
Are
move.
they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right, that's fine.
No, not all of
No,
them.
They're not-
They all do.
Do you mean coming out from the wall?
No.
No,
Oh,
Just
I
swivel.
bet
Yeah,
that's
swivel.
what they're supposed to.
They're made to swivel.
that's a design feature.
Oh,
So.
the bike was falling over.
The,
It's
suppose it
a
could also.
child's bike, then,
Ah,
no,
right.
children's bike.
No, you're right.
The rendering on
There
the
you are.
walling places on the toilet block is coming off.
It is really, I mentioned that.
Well, we know
Has
that
anybody got some explosive which just destroyed the whole thing?
What? It's quite all right.
Can I add a few more points about the village green?
Yes, please.
Now we've got this pristine mugger, and we've got the seesaw, which I always found pretty good really, but still. We did suggest that we got somebody in to paint the roundabout, make it much more attractive, different colours,
Yep.
and get somebody in, a contractor in to do it. Wouldn't cost a lot of money, I shouldn't think. Also, that trim trail really does need a good varnish. I mentioned that before. And has the swing been repaired? There was a split, wasn't there?
Well, is that the same as the quotation we've had?
Yes.
I've got a quotation here which I can talk to you
Right,
about
okay.
from Jubilee Sports.
And I painted one wall of the gents' toilet to block out the illiterate graffiti.
That's illiterate. Not even
Well,
literate graffiti.
not even enjoying writing.
capital letters.
Yeah, capital.
Thank you for that anyway.
Right. But the roundabout, I think, could be made to look really much more attractive.
I wonder who we could get to. That guy who did the.
You would need some special paint.
Isn't there a guy who's done some painting for us? So yeah. Would he be the man to
I
ask
think
for a quote
so.
for?
Yeah, someone will do it, I'm sure, if we ask him. It's pretty good problem.
And it was suggested we had different colours for each section coming out.
So presumably somebody can meet with him and decide what colours we're going to have?
Is it? White.
You and I
Is
go?
that a choice or is that I'm trying to get a...
Cost to sell one.
If you had a limit of colours, it would be cheaper. Like say, for instance, red, white, and blue.
We've got the mugger to discuss on the
Yeah.
later on the agenda,
Right.
so we can come on to that.
Can I just raise something on the green inspection? It's better done to have green inspection. One of the things that had been suggested in the past, we still the books. When I first became clerk 10 years ago, the book moved around from month to month.
Yeah.
And we moved it across to this slightly more sort of techie sort of document. I just wonder whether the book, because the one advantage the book had was you had some continuity from one month to the next. You could look back and see what happened in the previous month and see how things have changed over a period, which you can't see at the moment. You can't see the previous reports. So is it something you want to consider, perhaps reinstating the book to move around from meeting to meeting?
I've read
I would
before
prefer
that you
the book
just tend to
myself.
just tick, tick, tick.
Yeah.
Being devil's advocate, do we need to do parish councillors' inspections? Bearing in mind that both Owen and I have concerns, potential concerns over GB Sports, and there is the potential to, is this somewhere else on the agenda?
Somewhere else we can talk.
Can we talk about it now?
Talk about
Because
this
I
right
think
now.
it's
Yeah,
appetite.
I think we.
There is an alternative to GB Sport that Owen has been looking, because I feel, I have felt for some time, that I don't think GB Sports are perhaps doing as such a good job as we think they need to be
Yeah, we've
doing.
got matters 9 and I were talking about that actually. So
The thing is, when we do our report, we're looking for some different things from what you
yeah,
thought.
they're doing play equipment. You're doing just a village
I
green.
think
We're doing the village green.
we did that because it's something personal, you
Yes,
we put it down.
Actually,
And
really doing.
then
I'm just being devil's advocate, Peter, just
Yeah.
to reinforce the need for it. And I would support that. I'm not saying we don't do it.
Councillors, I'll just turn this off a second.
Computer's
Talk
gonna
about
die.
yourself, man.
On the basis that we were unhappy with GB Sports, Owen has been seeking alternatives and looking at alternative prices and the services they could provide. And this was highlighted, I think, or came to the fore because of the quote that we had to repair the swing, which seemed particularly excessive.
Well, so agree with that, actually.
You don't agree with it's not
Well,
excessive?
we're going to talk about that quite
We're
later.
going to talk about the quote anyway.
But
So, yeah, you want to come back on that when we do the GS, the whole thing, preferred contractor, and then obviously talking about the...
Shall we sort of defer to it then rather than...
Yeah, probably a good idea to do it in one go.
So are we going to, would members like to go forward on having a book for the future?
Or do you-
Yes, yes.
So what, I'll draw one up and put some headings, date, comments, and I'll put book 2016-17, and we change it every year then. We keep a book on our archives. We've got record of it. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, is
Very
that
good idea.
okay?
I guess there's nothing to report on flood mitigation, Peter?
No, and what about the removal of the screen?
It's coming up further on.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I thought we agreed that,
I
but
think we agreed.
yeah,
How's it going to be done?
how are we going to do it?
Well,
Volunteers?
I'd like to remove it with my friend Mac and take the information board down, take it away and refurbish it and screw it to the toilet block wall.
Yep.
What else?
There's no overnight parking, but that's on the
Yeah,
poster.
there's another one, I don't know,
There's
since
something
Morris
else, isn't
Street
there?
Cycling.
Yeah, if that comes down, I'll give it back to Sedgwick if you want.
Fine. Okay. And what about your fire?
For the hall, ideally, if that could be relocated onto the loo, that would be useful.
Well, I have to go on board then, okay, I'll do that as well.
Okay.
That's if we get permission to do it.
Something about the knoll. Is there something about
Yeah,
It's a
It's a big
general...
one I made a frame 4 years ago.
Oh.
It's hot, but
the one that you wrote?
Remove them.
So we are agreeing to the removal of the fence between the car park and the toilet.
And also the perhaps on the field gate was replacing
Yes.
or realigning.
Matt told me it was too short or something.
Yeah, we're going to move.
Okay, what do you call them?
Big gate coming into the field, it's possible to open it without them doing a lot.
It's just, I told them that.
And
They're
then
just going to be...
any signs that are on the wood is being taken
The
down,
screw
will
box.
be sighted onto
Removed and recycled.
onto the toilet block. Well,
One question, I have to agree with that coming down between it and the car park. The only one thing that you might need to look at is if all that's left there is the crash barrier, which is at a low level, we just need to be careful that people, when they're reversing, don't end up hitting that without realising there is a barrier there.
That was there before the barrier.
But there was a fence behind it. There was the wire fence like there is next to the apple tree. It's just there's nothing in the eye line of a driver if there's just a low level crash barrier. But that's something, I'm sure something could be done when people are taking it down.
parking sensors on those cars.
You heard so.
Paint the barrier, red colour, white.
It's just, well, when Peter's doing the job, he can have a look at it, see if he thinks anything different. Give him the responsibility.
Put a pay point in now.
Parish surgery and police matters. Well, there was a parish surgery this afternoon. I'm not sure who was supposed to attend.
It was Colin actually, but he was away, so he couldn't.
So he didn't. And I came down to see the police and
They did attend.
who did attend, and we had one visitor, George,
Yeah.
this afternoon.
Yeah.
We had the PCSO, Sam, PC, Pete was going to come, but I was going to talk about that under SID later. So the police are supporting our interest in speeding. Not encouraging speeding, discouraging speeding. Owen,
No, nothing
Nothing to
what's
report
already
on
on
that.
there, no.
So correspondence received, pre-circulated emails and
Basically, what
fair
we've got
number.
correspondence, there's a fair bit of stuff here. There's a whole, first of all, there's quite a number of letters appertaining to Station Road, and obviously there's a number of which you've obviously had a chance to read, some of which you would have already previously seen. Yeah, so on the letters we've had from our residents at Station Road, how do you want that to be proceeded on? Do you want those letters to be replied to? How do you want to move forward on that?
I haven't seen all the letters, I've seen one.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you've seen some of them, but to say there are some shorter than others, but I mean, obviously they've all written to us.
They should all be acknowledged and
Yes.
confirm that we're still in the consulting stage, and that
Okay.
as a result of what Sedgman have told us tonight, there'll be further survey.
Okay.
We've taken on board what they've said.
Those that can be replied to by email will reply by email. Those that where I haven't got an email address or not aware of an email, I'll like to know.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Are you going to circulate them?
I can circulate them. I mean, obviously, you've got some of them because obviously I forwarded some of them.
No, I haven't seen one.
We saw the long one.
Yeah, I saw the long one.
Saw that, and there was a couple of others, but.
No, I didn't see that.
Well, how do you want me to? I mean, I need to take them away to know who they are to respond to them. I think the content of them is all fairly similar, if I may say so. Mostly similar issues have been raised on most of them, but you know, it's a matter of you, really.
Do you have a scanner on your printer?
Yeah, that's good. When it works, yeah.
Is it worth scanning?
Well, what I'll do, I'll tell you what, I'll do something different. What I'll do is I'll write back to these replies, and then I'll send you these in post. So you can have a look. Now, if you want to circulate around
And
this.
then
Can they
circulate, so we all see
They can
them,
be
yeah.
popped into the circulation fund.
Yeah, they can go to circulation fund.
Yes, that'd be good, yeah.
We've got item B, RLT 2 and 3 funding summary. Obviously, you'll be aware that we don't have much in the pot on the RLT 2. We have 80 pence. So use it wisely, I think, is the answer. And obviously RLT 3, yeah, we haven't got any issue, we haven't got any claims on that at the moment. So this is just really to summarise where we are with it, information for applicants, you know, and whether there's anything we want to pursue, basically.
Can you just remind everybody what RLT2 and 3 is?
Well, RLT2, this is the money that developers give, isn't it, Bob,
Yeah.
to Sedgman. When they're building houses, they have to allocate a certain amount of funds, which can be used for community sports projects. And obviously, some councils obviously have a lot more buildings, so therefore they get a lot higher rate of funding. For example, there's one here. There's funds here for one council, not a million miles from here, 14,000. Still available under RLT2 award grants. So, and there are others with none at all. So obviously some have used the funds, and others just haven't had much development. It could be either, couldn't it? Is that right, Bob?
Just to add to that, we had quite a bit in our RLT2 pot, and then we used most of it with the Fino Waltzer, the tent thing that
Yeah.
rotates
Yeah,
and
yeah.
rings, and that was used to pay for that.
Yeah.
There won't be any more because the government changed the rules. We used to put money aside exactly as Owen said for children's play equipment was RLT2, sports equipment was RLT3. That system has now been done away with because we're not allowed to put money aside from more than 2 or 3 developments at a time. It's been replaced by another thing which the government has brought in called the Community Infrastructure Levy, SIL for short. And in effect what will happen with that is if there is development, then a percentage of the SIL fee gets given to the appropriate parish council. So there will be another source of funding, but it won't be through RLT2 and RLT3 anymore.
Right. Okay.
While we're on the subject of sources of funding, my stepson is a manager of Tesco store, and he suggested to me, did I know about Tesco's bags of help? You know, since they charge 5p for a bag, now the money they save, the money they get, they put into this particular fund called Bags of Help. And you can apply online for it, and it's either 8,000, 10,000 or 12,000 pounds if you're successful, and it covers voluntary training, physical improvements of open spaces, such as that Crooked Lane project, I should think, equipment purchases, community events and sports and leisure activities. So it's worthwhile having a look at it. If you Google Tesco Bags of Help, you'll get all the details on that.
Oh,
That's useful. That's very useful.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you, right.
Every little helps. Every little helps.
So the August, oh no, sorry, Sedgemoor CAB request for grant.
Yeah, we had a letter from Sedgemoor CB. One of the charities, well, I suppose yes, they are a charity, aren't they? That write to us pretty well consistently yearly, asking for a grant. And in the past, we've always supported them. They always tell us how many what the record shows are people they've helped in our parish. They claim to have helped 51 people in 2015-16 from this parish over the past 12 months. It's interesting because we used to get quite a lot of requests from charities for for grants. Sedgemoor CAB is the only one we ever get now, actually, to be honest. We never get any others. I think that's probably an administrative thing, because a lot of charities are struggling with people, and they haven't got enough people to write letters in the first instance. So I don't know whether you want me to put that on the agenda for a November meeting when we have a look at the grants at that time, and then we put that there for that.
Please.
August play inspection report we've got here. I don't think it shows anything significantly different to what we've seen in the past. In fact, everything on that report shows us low in category. So, I guess we might have a chat about that coming back in later when we talk about the GB Sport contract. What else we got?
NHS health checks.
Yeah, there's this thing I had through the post actually. Find out about our free NHS health check. You're eligible for a free NHS health check if you're aged 40 to 74, you live in Somerset, you have not had a NHS health check in 5 years, and you have not been diagnosed with or are not taking medication for heart disease. It's really for information. So what I was going to do is put it in the circulation folder.
But also for the weekend?
Yeah.
All I would say is that I believe certainly the East Brent practice has written to patients that they haven't seen for 5 years, confirming that if you trundle along, they'll give you an MOT. So the GPs are on the ball anyway.
Well, they limited it to up to 74. That's what I'm like.
It's an ageist thing.
Yeah,
The chances are you might not get to the next inspection or something. I don't know, Brian. I
Be careful what you're saying.
mean, to be honest with you, why do they put age things on these things?
Yeah. Okay, so I'll
To do with funding.
put something in, if I see if I can devise something.
But the real thing is, you'll probably sit, I don't know, but most of us perhaps go to the doctors more than every in the last 5 years.
Then finally, there's a bit of training coming up with Sedgemoor. We've got planning training. There's some dates. I think you've got some going. You've got some dates there.
Yes, 12th and 18th of October I want to go on the one. What is that one called? Do we know?
That's the one at Sedgemoor in Bridgewater.
Yes, in Bridgewater.
But the other one seems to be a marketing exercise, in my opinion, for the people that are sort of presenting.
This is the South one actually,
I don't know.
which has got a fee attached to it. Someone's got a fee attached to it. But
What day do you want to do?
if you've got any ideas of when you, I'll obviously make sure we book a place for you.
Do you want me to come back to you on that?
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
want to look
yeah.
at
As long as you've got the date, so you know what
What's
the
the
dates
title of the course, please?
are. Parish Council training, planning training.
And it's
Wednesday the 12th and Tuesday the 18th of October between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m.